Good afternoon, Co-Chair Mr. Smith and distinguished members of the Commission. Thank you for inviting me to testify here today. My name is Alysa Liu. I came to the United States as a political refugee back in 1989 after the Tiananmen Square massacre. And I'm also the proud father of the Olympic gold medalist Alysa Liu, and also 4 other wonderful children. Today is especially a sad day for me. 37 years ago, on June 4th, 1989, the Chinese government sent tanks and soldiers to kill students and civilians in Tiananmen Square and also in Beijing. At that time, thousands of students and civilians just gathered peacefully to call for the democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, the rule of law, and for basic human rights in China. Thousands of them lost their lives, and hundreds more were severely injured. At that time, I was in Guangzhou attending graduate school in Zhongshan University. I was one of the principal organizers of the democracy movement in Guangzhou, China. When news of the massacre reached Guangzhou, I was devastated. I could not understand and believe how a government that claimed to serve the people could turn its weapons against its own young people and civilians. In response, I organized more protests in Guangzhou against the massacre. Of course, soon afterwards, I became one of the most wanted democracy activists in southern China. I was very fortunate to be able to escape from China to Hong Kong. And after I came to America, I continued to organize protests in front of the Chinese consulate in San Francisco and also in front of the Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C., calling upon the Chinese government to release political prisoners, religious prisoners in China. I have spoken publicly many times about the human rights abuses in China. Like many refugees, I believed that once I arrived in America, I had left political persecution behind me. But an incident in late 2021 proved me wrong. To explain what happened, I must tell you a little bit about my daughter, Alysa Liu. Alysa recently won 2 gold medals for the United States of America at the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. Before that, she became the youngest U.S. women's champion in history when she won the U.S. figure skating championships at the ages of 13 and 14. She set records as the youngest female skater in history to ever land a triple axel in international competitions at the age of 12. And she was the first female skater in history to have landed a triple axel and a quadruple jump in the same competition program. In 2021, it was clear that she was on her way to represent the United States of America in the 2022 Winter Olympic Games in Beijing, China. Alysa posted a piece of news about the human rights violations in Xinjiang back in 2018 when she was only 12, 13 years old. And I guess the Chinese government never forgot about that. And since she was most likely going to Beijing for the Olympic Games, I may also be going as well. So they were concerned. One day in late October or early November in 2021, I received a phone call. The caller identified himself as an official from the U.S. Olympic Committee. And he told me that he was conducting international travel preparedness and needed my passport and Alysa's passport. he gave me a fax number for me to fax our passports to him. And I told him I would do it the next day. I never did. I was smarter than that. But later on, I got a phone call. Just a few days later, I got a phone call from the FBI, and he told me he needed to meet with me. And I met him at a Starbucks. He told me that a Chinese spy acting on behalf of the Chinese government was already in the San Francisco Bay Area. That was in early November 2021. He would be tracking my movement. He would be surveilling on my daily activities. He would be placing a GPS tracker on my car, and he would try to collect our personal information like social security numbers and particularly our passport information. And the FBI told me to watch out for my surroundings and be careful. I was very worried when I heard the news because Alysa was most likely going to Beijing. And I was also concerned that the spy might do something to her in the United States. At that time, Alysa was competing in Japan. So the next day, she came back to America. I took her away from the San Francisco Bay Area to another location for training. As we were boarding the plane, and I received a phone call from the FBI. He told me that the spy was right on his way to our house. And I couldn't believe it. It was like a scene right out of the movie. It could not have been so coincidental that we were boarding the plane and the spy was right on his way to our house. The FBI agent informed me that they were ready to arrest those spies acting on behalf of the Chinese government at that time. But as a father, I was terrified for the safety of Alysa when she goes to Beijing to compete for the United States of America. So I told them, can you please wait until she comes back from the Olympic Games? And the FBI said yes. And I also requested additional security for Alysa. When she was in Beijing, she was accompanied at all times by 2 adults from venues to venues throughout the Olympic Games. On March 16, 2022, the Department of Justice announced criminal charges against the spies. One of them was Matthew Zebros, the guy who called me, posing as an official from the U.S. Olympic Committee, and who spied on me in the San Francisco Bay Area. When the news came out, a neighbor from my office came over and told me. And he told me that he had seen this guy, Matthew Zebros, many times. He was lingering in the lobby right in front of my office. And of course, Matthew Zebros was charged along with, I believe, 4 other people in the spying on me, and also another dissident from China, and an artist in Los Angeles. I'm really grateful to the FBI agents who provided security for me and also my daughter. And I appreciate that the US government took forceful actions to prosecute those spies to the fullest extent under the law. But America cannot stop there. We can't just prosecute them. we must understand that not just me, a political dissident from China, the Uyghurs or the people from Hong Kong, we have to understand we will not be safe. America will not be safe until China becomes a democracy. We must understand China must have a government which respects basic human rights and honors the rule of law. We must also understand that America will not be safe until people all over the world can live peacefully and harmoniously together. We have a lot of work to do in America. Thank you for inviting me to testify here today. I look forward to answering your questions.
Mr. Liu, thank you for your testimony.